And welcome back to week 5 of the Borderland Blitz, sponsored by Southwest University. I'm Adrian Ochoa, joined by Rachel Phillips. Just crazy how this time's going by.
Yeah, high school football slamming through, college football too. Tonight was just one of those nights, crazy.
Yeah, I know, and we even had some Friday Night Lights at the Sun Bowl too, which we'll get to in just a bit. But again, another great week of high school football here in the Borderland. Go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup. Our game of the week, one of the oldest rivalries in the Sun City, the Battle of the Claw between El Paso and Austin.
Yeah, 92nd one. I was out there. It was crazy. We'll then head to Jefferson High School, the Silver Foxes taking on the Bel Air Highlanders. Bel Air trying to keep their perfect season intact. And then later, Organ Mountain playing with heavy hearts following the death of teammate Abe Romero. Tonight, they face crosstown rival Centennial in a big district matchup.
Let's go ahead and start with the Austin Panthers hosting the El Paso Tigers. The Battle of the Claw. You were out there earlier for Rachel's rally.
Can I just say that the claw is deceptively heavy? I was struggling to hold it. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to not be able to breathe pretty soon.
Well, yeah, and as you mentioned, tonight's meeting on the gridiron would mark the 92nd game between these two schools. El Paso came into the matchup a perfect 3-0. Austin, meanwhile, was looking for their second win of the season. So we go to Austin High School for this one. Tonight's game of the week. Of course, a rivalry game. Turn to Central El Paso here with the Panthers hosting the Tigers. They'll battle for the claw right here. Contreras, as you see, gonna hand off to Jaden Wilson. And hey, Mr. Wilson, he's gonna bust out a spin move right there, take it to the house.
He's got all the moves.
Putting the Panthers up 7-0. After going 3 and out by the Tigers, they would punt here. And it's Wilson. Big time mistake here, muffs it. We got to scramble for the ball, and El Paso comes up with it.
I just talked him up. I said he had all the moves. Not in that case, though. Come on, Wilson.
The Tigers nicely with this 12-yard pass right here from Martin Gonzalez to Edgar Garcia, knotting it up at 7 apiece. Make no mistake, though, Wilson would have his pound of flesh. He is a Panther, after all. With this 35-yard run, pushing people over, get out of his way. Finally gets taken down right there. That will take us to the second quarter for Contreras. Keep it himself, quarterback sneaked right on in. That made it 14-7 Austin. On the ensuing kickoff, you'll see El Paso High School's Nick Carrillo. No, we're gonna show this one. Jaden
2-point conversion? Or just him in again?
A 2-point conversion there, yeah.
With 4:59.
Then on the ensuing kickoff, here it is, that highlight. El Paso High's Nick Carrillo. Following his blocks right up the middle. A 60-yard return there, setting the Tigers in prime real estate. Unfortunately for the Tigers, Israel Luna of the Panthers has some reservations for 6. Take that himself. We'll run it back.
Like taking candy from a baby right there.
And he's not done yet.
He has the pick. Is he getting the 6?
Yep, mission accomplished there. Putting the Tigers again, all Austin in this one, as the Panthers go on to win this one. Final score in this one, see it right there, 32-7. Austin, winners of this year's Battle of the Claw.
Yeah, it stays there. El Paso last won it back in 2017. So Panthers holding on to the claw. Another team that was looking to keep their undefeated streak intact, the Bel Air Highlanders at 4-0 on the season. Tonight they paid a visit to Jefferson High School. The Silver Foxes at 3-1. We're looking to hand the Highlanders their first loss of the season. And Bel Air's Noah Moreno, when we get through this running out, Moreno here fighting for an open player and sends it to Mark Mukibi.
Oh, nice.
Taken. There's a little interference, but he gets it and then runs it.
Look, you think he's going to get taken down right there, but no.
Wow.
No.
Wow. That is deception right there. That makes it 7-0 Bel Air. And yeah, they're pretty happy about it in the stands. Why wouldn't you be? No Moreno with a handoff to Ricardo Herrera here. And just like that, it is 14-0 Bel Air. Celebrations all round. Jefferson's Andre Lopez looking for a pass, but it's intercepted by LA's Jose Garcia. 21-0 Bel Air. That's the second pick six we've seen in just 2 games. They were happening tonight. Bel Air wins it 35-7.
Yeah, the Highlanders improving to 5-0 on the season. That's impressive there.
Pretty nice way to start the season, right? 5-0.
Yeah.
Not bad.
We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to District 1-6A, and with that, back by popular demand. You see him right there. Will Heron is back. I thought we'd see you later in the season, but no, we're bringing you back for the rest of the season, from what I'm being
You
told.
said if we hollered at you, you would comment, and we hollered, and here you are, Will, again.
They were a hollering, and let me tell you something. I'm your big 1-6A guy, so let's get into this. What is up? You guys ordered up that energy last week, and now I won't go away. Some things that do go away are my facial hair.
Thank the Lord, Will.
Rachel
Thank
is
you.
a hater, but apparently I think I like this, but it was too much for you guys. The consultants gave it the axe, which is why I'm wearing black. Let's get into this game. 4-0 Coronado, 4-0 Pebble Hill is taking on the 1-3 Coronado. T-Birds out the sack on the way to get picked on by Sparty, but before things got too much going, had a moment of silence for Abraham Romero, the football player at Oregon High who had lost his life last week. Spartans, though, with the ball first going to be lined up in the shotgun. Gale Ochoa, Adrian's cousin, drops back.
Sure,
Season, he is probably. Season open field, turns on the burners, heads to Pater untouched.
I think Adrian would be so lucky to have him as his cousin.
I
No
know.
offense, but I mean, come
That's
on,
the
skills.
speed right there. Now, after that two-point conversion, the Hills would be up by 8. Coronado, they would get the ball back, but plays like this would sputter the drive, though. They would fight their way to the Pebble Hills 19 on the legs of Owen Levesque, but a blocked field goal would give it back to the Spartans. Ochoa again, after viewing the coverage, decides to bolt up the middle, again, untouched for the tutty. The Pebble Hills Spartans take it 49-20.
Perfect. Those Spartans remain.
They
That's
just
awesome.
don't stop, won't stop.
5-0.
Second game of the night for me, Eastwood's Adrian Ochoa is taking on the El Dorado Aztecs on homecoming night. Shout out to the Trooper parking staff that got me in that game. Appreciate you guys. 21-7 Eastwood when the Aztecs. Quincy Estrada follows his blocks. Quarterback keeper taking the rock 50 yards for the touchdown. That's all right, though. There's no quit in the troop. This drive, Evan Mijares hits Chris Murgil, who leaps up with the ball, makes the catch, and then heads his way to glory, my man, doing the dance. Eastwood applying
Oh, look at the
gasoline.
arms there. He knows that was good.
know what he
With the
did.
flashing lights, too. That's awesome.
Not stopping. Mijares, far from done. He fakes the keeper, backs up, throws another strike to his homie, Max Mancillo, who knows what to do. The Trooper clap takes it 56-34 over the El Dorado Aztecs. Tell about my Cougars, Dre.
Hey, that's coming down later in the line. We're going to be talking about Franklin and Eastwood down the line.
I want it. I need it.
I'm pretty sure you'll be here for that week. So
I'm gonna be.
We've got to make a friendly wager on that one.
Adrian, all of your teams are winning tonight. How good do you feel right
I know,
now?
yeah. Eastwood, UTEP. I mean, yeah.
You only have two teams, but they both won.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good night right
You
there.
choose
The
the bet on
Cowboys
it.
won.
The Cowboys won last week. Probably won't win this week, but you know,
Maybe you should
whatever.
shave your head if the Cougars win.
Oh no, I can't do that. The consultants would definitely kill me on that. I do not look good.
They do
with
that.
shape. Real quick, the Trooperettes, it's a dance group at Eastwood. They celebrated their 60th anniversary
Oh, wow.
tonight. So, and my sister was a Trooperette as well. So,
Very
just
cool.
if you're a former Trooperette, just want to give you a shout out celebrating 60 years.
Do we do a trooper clap for him?
Yeah, there it is.
I'm always off
Thank you
time
very
with a
much,
clap.
my
I
man.
try,
gave
but
you
I'm
one.
off.
Thank you. Well, the other game in District 1-6A featured those Franklin Cougars, Will Heron's alma mater, taking on the Socorro Bulldogs. Franklin has been on a roll as of late, 3-1 on the season, right in a 3-game win streak. Socorro, on the other hand, still in search of their first win of the season. On paper, the Cougs should have had no problem in this game. And as
Yeah, Shea
expected,
Smith as well.
yeah, Shea Smith, Bill Ford Tough Player of the Week. And as expected, it was all Cougars here. Jason Villagrana with the run gets pushed out of bounds to get the Cougars closer. Then it's Villagrana again pushing through. Looks like he was going to be tackled short of the goal line, but finds a way to get into the end zone. Next drive again. It's Villagrana with this big run here, breaking tackles for yet another Cougars touchdown. The Cougars relying on the run game.
Yeah,
in this game.
not too much from Shea Smith. He's
No,
doing the handoffs in this
no,
game.
I mean, he's just, no, yeah, that's, Shea didn't have to do much in this game, and just sharing the wealth around. And as when we show you the final score, it's not a typo. The Cougars win in a shutout. You see it there, 70-0. The final. Franklin Cougars continue to roll. 4 straight wins now for those Cougars.
Yeah, and you got to give it up for the Cougs, because sometimes when you play a lesser opponent, you play down to the lead level, but clearly not in that game. Cougars all over it. Well, the Organ Mountain Knights playing with heavy hearts tonight following the death of teammate Abe Romero. Tonight they face crosstown rival Centennial, and the Hawks currently ranked second in the state of New Mexico. Organ Mountain versus the Centennial Hawks, both teams honoring Abe Romero with a 22-second moment of silence. That's his number on his jersey at the Field of Dreams. And you can see there just some emotion before the game and what is going to be a very intense game tonight there for everyone, not only Organ Mountain, but just really all of the Las Cruces schools. First highlight here is a nice throw to Isaiah Abeda, and he slips between two defenders and goes all the way for the touchdown right there to put Centennial on the board first. Nice little celebrations too, you gotta love that, why not? Daniel Hernandez will take this one himself as he's on the run, but it gets knocked out of his hand here. Oh, mate, control, come on, that's gotta be key, 101 with football. The Hawks though, Organ Mountain recovers the ball, but Hawks are back on the offense right here. And Hernandez steps back, throws to Nathan Lara, and gets some good yards after the catch. That takes it, moves the chains up the field. Jump forward now, Hawks at the 1 yard line. Centennial punches it in for the touchdown, as it was all Centennial tonight. Unfortunately for the Organ Mountain Knights, who obviously were playing for heavy hearts for Abe, and I'm sure they had him in his thoughts and prayers as they were out there, right there. But Centennial win it big, 49-10, as you see number 22 shining bright for him on the field.
Absolutely. Plenty more to come here on the Borderland Blitz. Let's go ahead and we'll be checking in with those UTEP highlights. UTEP versus Boise State. We'll have that for you. Looking to also get some post-game sound from Dana Dimmel. We also have some other action to get to, but before we let you go, for this segment, we want to again express our condolences to Abe Romero's family. We were out at the Field of Dreams when Romero was in the coma there, and we could certainly see the Las Cruces community banding together, and just an awesome display from the students, not just from Organ Mountain, but from all the public schools in the area.
I was going to say, not just in Las Cruces, here in the Borderland too. I was at the SAC last night. They held a minute of silence, and it was a really beautiful, touching tribute and moment, and a lot of the teams out here have his initials and number on their helmets.
Those decals,
Yeah, his loss being felt all around the Borderland, and like Adrian said, everyone here at ABC7 wishing our condolences and our thoughts with the Romero family.
We feel like life is for living, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the moments that matter. At Rise Federal Credit Union, we provide the advice and tools to help make your money work for you. That way you can focus on what could be, no matter where you start from or where you want to go. Ready to dream big? We're here to help you get there. Together, we rise.
The tastiest handcrafted pizza made with the freshest ingredients. The newest games, along with some cool classics. The post-game party, win or lose. They're all made to be shared, like our Double Up deal. 2 large one-topping pizzas on dough made from scratch daily, just $24. Peter Piper Pizza. Pizza made fresh, families made happy.
For context, depth, and perspective you won't see anywhere else, tune into ABC7 Sunday Extra.
You think there should be a change in gun laws in the state of Texas?
Join Dylan McKim Sunday nights at 10:35 as he brings in-depth debates on the Borderland's most pressing matters.
What programs are in the budget proposal right now that are keeping streets maintained or improved?
The big stories, impactful issues, tough, fair discussions, only on ABC7 Sunday Extra.
Yeah, we had to include the UTEP marching band on Friday night.
Yeah, it had me grooving just then. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. I actually shot that and I was dancing. I couldn't
keep the camera straight.
Couldn't keep it straight, just dancing there. But speaking of UTEP, I mean, just what a game tonight. Huge test for the Miners playing host to those Boise State Broncos. Miners have never beaten Boise State in football. Boise State has won all 6 meetings dating back to the 2000 Humanitarian Bowl in Boise. I remember that game well, and I still have a grudge on that. But the Miners are ready to bring the smoke tonight. UTEP under the Friday night lights. In the first half of this game, it's all about the defense. Boise State knocking on the door here, but the Miners is going to close that real quick. Broncos would settle for a field goal to go up 3-0. Second quarter game was tied at 3. Gavin Hardison going to connect with Jeremiah Ballard. And Jeremiah Ballard, welcome to End Zone City. Miners go up 10-3. That would be the score at the half. First possession of the second half. Here comes Boise State, though. Broncos will find the end zone. Hank Bachmeyer pass to Stephon Cobbs. That's good for 6. We're tied.
Alarm bells ringing for all Miner fans right here.
We're tied at 10, but later in the third, Miners up 13-10. Broncos punting from their own end zone, and it's UTEP. Marcus Bellin. And you see that run, Marcus, run. Gonna dive towards the pylon, and yeah, he's in. It's 20-10 Miners. But the Miners weren't done. Fourth quarter here, knocking on the door. Handoff to the former Isleta Indian, Ray Flores. Punch it, count it. His first touchdown as a Miner. And the Miners get it done. And the jaws were dropping at this point. Here, as you see these Boise State fans.
What is that?
I don't know what that is, but I want one.
I don't know. You won't. That kind of weirds me out. I don't know how I feel about that.
It looks pretty cool, but I mean, to come for Boise State, put yourself in that costume and then see your team lose.
Yeah, that can't be fun. You're probably regretting all the decisions you ever made in your life that led you to that point right there.
Miners over the Broncos for the first time ever. 27-10 was the final. We're still waiting to hear from Coach Dana Dimo. We have a crew out there. We're told he hasn't spoken yet. So hopefully if he does within our show here on the Blitz, we'll show you what he had to say. Post-game comments from Coach Dimo.
I mean, post-game comments from us, what a massive statement win from UTEP.
Awesome win there.
I don't think many people saw that win coming at all. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about them not being as good as last year and not much changing. But this season, that game, they came out, they showed out. So we'll see what they do for the rest of the season ahead. But back to the high school ranks over at the Blue Turf in Canutillo. The Eagles hosting the Parkland Matadors. Canutillo was looking to rebound after falling to Del Valle last week. But it would be tough for the Eagles taking on a Parkland team riding a 3-game win streak. And they started, well, early. I mean, you got the dancing there. How can anything be going wrong with that? But Eric Ortiz putting his ball in the top shelf to DJ Crest.
Nice grab from Mr.
Yeah.
Crest.
And with the catch and score there for Crest, not bad. And later, Canutillo fumbles the ball right here. The Matadors recover, but can they make the most out of it? Here's Ortiz again with the long ball, but it gets intercepted by Dante Aguirre right there. A huge turning point in the game. A few plays later, it's Eagles' Jeremiah Knox. He finds Anthony Alea all alone in the middle of the field for a big gain. Later in that drive, Canutillo with the handoff to Rene Huerta, who takes it to the house to tie the game. In the end, 35-7. Eagles win it after Parkland getting on top early. So massive comeback from the Eagles.
Snapping Parkland's win streak. Big win for Coach Scott Brooks and his squad there. In Northeast El Paso, it was the Chapin Huskies taking on the Del Valle Conquistadores. Del Valle 3-1 on the season, while Chapin still looking for their first win of the season. And here's what happened in this one. Third quarter, Conquistadores are up by 22 points. They pick up just where they left off here with a 32-yard pass from Jesse Ramos to Shelton there. Shelton Fuller all alone, putting the Conquistadores up. Right here, 29-0 on their ensuing drive here. The Huskies go for it all the way. 35-yard pass to the end zone, only to be picked off by Del Valle's Eli Molina. That ended whatever hope Chapin had of coming back in this one, as Del Valle wins it in a shutout. 36-0. Those Conquistadores continue their winning ways.
Yeah, and a winless Horizon making the trip to an undefeated Riverside. And according to the Rangers, it's eating season. And their next course were the Scorpions. And if the opening kickoff return was any indication, yeah, the Rangers were hungry. Adrian Estrada with the casual flick off to Angel Speedy Munoz. And there's nothing casual about him or this play. He's all business. Skipping through the first line of defense, and then from there he turns on the speed. Actually, he gets to turn it down a notch because there's no one near him. Takes it all the way to the house, and watch this celebration right here. The casual hands out like, yep, that's right, I just did that. And yeah, he even came and let our camera know. The Rangers feeling it, And after a quick horizon, 3 and out, Riverside were back in scoring range. This time it was Speedy giving the ball to Estrada, and he would run it in for the TD. Nothing going right for the Scorpions on the field. You see the incompletion right there. Just not able to get anything going, but off of it, watch out. The Scorpion going off.
Bring in the sting.
Shake that tail, mate. It's the only thing moving for you tonight, because all the movement was happening with the Rangers. Speedy this time with the pass to Estrada, and it was easy does it for the Rangers on both sides of the ball. So much so.
Nice chain.
Yeah, the defense were eating some pancakes. Look at that, they got the pancakes and then the syrup on top.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah.
Rangers get up big 65-13 to move to 5-0 on the season.
Big win there for those Rangers. The Andrews Eagles, meantime, hit the road to Midland today to face the Bulldogs of Midland High. Nothing going right for Andrews, though, offensively. It's a tough game for them. First quarter, you see there, they get stuffed. Then it's Midland quarterback Jake Cunningham with the keeper. And, yeah, see you later. Using that speed there, put Midland on the board. And then the pitch to Riley Perez for the Bulldogs. Shakes off a defender with the stiff arm and, yeah, takes it to the house. Count it again. Then it's the handoff this time to Elijah McCoy. And he's off to the races. All Midland in this one. Not going to be a good bus ride home for those Andrews Eagles as they fall big in this one. Yeah, 74-14, the final.
That's a quiet bus trip home.
Yeah, very quiet bus trip. Andrews still looking for their first dub here.
But things aren't quiet in here. It's actually quite loud because third member of our team, Jason, joining us right now.
Yeah, he was down to Lower Valley covering some games at Clint and San Eli.
Yeah, that's right, Adrian. So both of these teams are 1-3, and were any of them able to improve their record Friday night? Well, we'll take a look. These games are incredibly similar, both being blowouts by the start of the second half. First, we'll check out Irvin and Clint. A moment of silence held for Abram Merrow. Irvin's first drive ends with a 4-and-out, and Clint takes advantage of this, scoring quickly. Now look, they're running all over that with this run from number 28. Now, after this run, they score on the next play with number 7 of the Lions taking it in for 6. There it goes.
No. Did you speed that up?
I did not speed that up.
No,
he's quick. He's quick.
All right.
Now, another turnover on downs from the Rockets leads to another score from Clint, making this game 21-zip at the end of the first quarter. Now, in the end, Clint won 56-14. Absolute blowout. Now we head to Cathedral at San Elizario. Now, check this out. Cathedral's already dominating San Eli by halftime, and to add insult to injury, Cathedral special teams schools the 2009 New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. It starts the second half with a recovered onside kick. Now, right after this, Cathedral immediately scores, much to the dismay of the San Elizario home crowd. They were not happy about that. There he goes.
If I were a football team, I would practice those kicks and do them all the time. Why not, if you can make them come off?
Exactly. But you know what? The Eagles, they are not going down without a fight. And the big man rumbles all the way into Cathedral territory. Look at him go. Now, San Elizario then scores with this throw to Zamata Vargas, making it a 19-point game at this point. Now, San Eli did try to come back. They almost came back, but Cathedral takes the W tonight.
As close as you can get there, but yeah, good win there. Thank you very much, Jason. We'll see you for some Blitz picks coming up.
Yes, of course.
Well, another score to get to here. Babins traveled to La Mesa, Texas to take on those Tornadoes, and the Tornadoes blew that one away by 10 points. Just 10 points there, 16-6, the final in that one.
You know what time it is?
Yes.
Read the board. It's War of the Week time. Lorenzo Leyva is back for another edition. He hosts this one from the SAC Americas, taking on Eastlake.
Right, it's that time again. I'm here at the SAC once again for the War of the Week. I'm here with the Eastlake Falcons. Let's hear you guys. And the America's Trailblazers. Let's hear you guys. All right, guys. Are you guys ready to start the War of the Week? I don't think you're ready. Are you ready to start the War of the Week? All righty. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, go! And it's even right now. There's no movement in the rope. Come on, ladies. You guys can do it. You guys, Americas is taking a little bit of advantage. Come on. And Americas takes the win. Let's hear you guys. what another wonderful War of the Week. Congratulations, Americas. You guys take it this week.
I think that was our most intense War of the Week yet. Yeah. There was literally no movement on that rope. I was like, are we going to have a winner here when I was shooting it? But we did.
It was at a standstill for a few seconds there. That's awesome.
And I want to shout out to all the cheerleaders and their coaches because they actually love this. Like, it's awesome how much they love it. They're all excited to do it. We got to the sack and they were like, we get to do it this week? I was like, yep, your turn, let's go. So thank you to the cheerleaders and coaches for letting us do that with them. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. We're going to take another break, but after the break, we'll check in with La Bowie. We'll head to La Bowie as the Bowie Bears hosted the Anthony Wildcats. That's coming up after the break.
I'm a 25-year truck driver. I've been driving for Riverside Enterprises for 6. I have 1 million miles. I'm home every weekend. The benefits and the respect that you get in this company is outstanding. If you're looking for a place to call home, call Riverside Enterprises.
Here in the Sun City, we can ensure our children benefit from an education that inspires success, cultivates imagination, and promotes critical thinking. And it starts by saying yes to Sun City school districts. Our districts offer dual language courses and innovative programs, while also maintaining high graduation rates and top school admissions with scholarship opportunities available as well. A brighter future for our children is possible, so say yes to Sun City school districts.
Public notice.
Do not buy a car today.
Wait until Sunday for the Zero over MSRP sales event.
Exclusively at Casa Buick GMC.
Every new car, truck, and SUV on display will sell for 0 over MSRP.
After struggling for over a year to obtain vehicles to satisfy the public demand, Casa Buick GMC on Montana at Airway now has the inventory you need.
On a first-come, first-served basis.
Take advantage.
2022 GMC Terrain 0 over MSRP. Or a 2022 GMC Sierra 0 over MSRP.
Not looking for a new vehicle?
Over 500 pre-owned vehicles will be available. Casa Buick GMC. Closed Saturday and open this Sunday for 10 hours only.
I'm a 25-year truck driver. I've been driving for Riverside Enterprises for 6. I have 1 million miles. I'm home every weekend. The benefits and the respect that you get in this company is outstanding. If you're looking for a place to call home, call Riverside Enterprises.
Well, our next game is going to take us to La Bowie as the Bowie Bears played host to the Anthony Wildcats. Anthony's having a really good season this year, 3-1 entering the game, whereas Bowie, they were looking for their second win of the season. This is actually, is that? No.
I think that's that was the Ysleta game.
That was the Ysleta Fort Stockton game. We'll check back to see if we get those Bowie highlights. Let's go ahead and move on then to those Fort Stockton Ysleta highlights then.
Yeah, Fort Stockton taking a trip to Ysleta, and it wasn't just the team from Fort Stockton that made the road trip. Look at the supporter crew. Some a little more interested than others in the game, and I can't blame the kids too much. Fort Stockton were up 28-0 in third, but don't tell David Avalos that. He looked like Kyler Murray out there, running one way, stopping, running back the other way, stopping before the gaps eventually open up, and he makes his way down the sideline, skipping through that tackle for an Ysleta first down, which sets up this week's sweep play winner, Arath Gomez, to burst his way into the end zone to put Ysleta on the board, and the vibes were good. A bit of Sweet Caroline had the Ysleta fans up and waving about, but Fort Stockton wanted to kill the mood. The kickoff return here in Isaiah Garcia with the catch and run, and he wasn't the only one running. So were the Fort Stockton bench. I thought I was going to be bulldozed over, so I ran with them, but it ends up being called back for a flag on the play. So my life flashed before my eyes for literally nothing. It was a very scary moment. Fort Stockton get it done 34-14 in the end.
Other scores to get to here. Mountain View improves to 4-1. They get a big-time win over Santa Teresa tonight. 50-14 was the final. Meantime, Gadsden hit the road to Roswell to take on the Goddard Rockets, and it was all Goddard in this one as they take down the Panthers 44-7 the final. Let's go ahead and recap some Thursday night games real quick. Let's get to those highlights. It was America's taking on Eastlake over at the SAC last night. You were there at that game last night.
Eastlake looked good.
The helmet, the decals, as we mentioned, for Eastlake, Abe Romero, as you'll see on the helmets for Eastlake right there, his initials, and also the number 22. They had a moment of silence for him before the game. You're going to see Eastlake quarterback Luke Lamelli, the Isai Barrera, so committed that he falls into that deflated entrance there.
Yeah, he didn't care though. He's like, I got the touchdown. Let's go, folks.
Eastlake would come away with the win by a last-second field goal in this one. They win 24-22, the final. Meantime, over at Burgess High, it was the Mustangs hosting the Knights from Hanks. Very happy mascot there. And offense was hard to come by in the first half, but in the third quarter, still no score. But here come the Mustangs, handoff to Andrew Almendades. Puts them in good shape right here. A few plays later, handoff to Caleb Hanna, and get out of his way here. As you'll see, he'll just, get out of his way. Like I said, the Hanks defender found that out the hard way. Burgess goes on to win this one. Final score, 27-7. The final. Burgess with the dub. And over at the Field of Dreams last night, it was Mayfield hosting Belen. It was all Mayfield. They were really looking to make a statement, trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Quarterback Anthony Carrillo rolls right before passing to put Mayfield in scoring range here. And then on the next play, it's Justin Madrid taking care of the rest with a dash into the end zone. Mayfield wins this one. Final score, 49-7, snapping that 3-game losing skid. Now, go ahead and let's pick.
Yeah, it's time to, I know it's Jason's favorite time of the week. I quite like it too. It's a lot of fun, and you guys are getting involved in it too. Jason, what do you have for us this week?
Yes, you're right, Rachel. This is my favorite time of the week. Today, we have a man, one of our fans with Blitzy the Bear. Very nice shot.
Yeah, he came up to us and actually asked for a photo with Blitzy. I was like, you want a photo with him? You get a photo with him.
I really like this shot right here too. It didn't exactly have, oh, wrong photo.
That's a nice one too.
Touchscreen's a little finicky sometimes.
Yeah.
There we go. This is Del Valle at Chapin. It looks like this is like a classic Friday Night Lights shot, but
oh yeah, I can hear the music in the background.
Yes, absolutely. There can only be one winner this week, and for that, we're gonna go with Joel Molina with this shot from Riverside versus Horizon. A nice action shot. Remember, you can win $50 too if you submit your picks. kvia.com/play, and then go to Blitz Picks. Now back to more Borderland Blitz football.
Thank you, Jason. And we saw Blitzy in one of those pictures, and he once again got around town. Take a look.
Why are you sitting there? It's Friday. We gotta go.
Say hi to Blitzy.
We love the Borderland Blitz!
Yeah.
Elevate your body, woo! Get yourself together. Oh, when I say 1, 2, 3.
He's wanting to play now.
Boom. We're out of it.
We're going to go ahead and recap the scores for you coming up after the break, just in case you missed it. Stay with us.
Football season is here, and our tailgate fiesta is going on now at Casa Ford.
That means getting you behind the wheel of a new Ford F-150.
We're your all-pro pick for a great selection of new Ford trucks and SUVs.
And build your own Ford online and custom order from Casa today. Get your Ford your way.
Plus, bring in your trade and we'll pay you up to $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book value. Our tailgate fiesta is going on now at Casa Ford, home of the nice guys.
Yeah!
Don't wait until 2023 and enroll today at Southwest University. We offer more than 20 associate's and bachelor's degrees to start your dream career now. Enroll by September 23rd at Southwest University to become a professional in the nursing, sonography, business, or radiology fields. We offer flexible schedules and short terms. Why wait until next year when you can start at Southwest University now? For more information, visit us at southwestuniversity.edu. Last day to enroll is September 23rd. Southwest University makes you happen.
If you get hurt in a car wreck, did you know that if you hire the Strong Arm, you don't pay anything unless they win your case?
That's right. And be careful. The insurance company will try to pay you as little as possible.
Don't wait. Pick up the phone and call the Strong Arm. They got me $180,000 for my case.
We'll fight to get you the biggest settlement possible.
Lawn Car Lion Jenkins has a team ready to work for you today.
Call Lawn Car Lion Jenkins, the Strong Arm. If we don't win your case, you don't pay us a dime.
Call in the Strong Arm, 800 then all sevens.
Quick recap of the scores from Week 5. You see Austin, Bel Air, Pebble Hills, my Troopers, Parkland and Canutillo coming away with big wins today.
As well as Del Valle, Fort Stockton, Riverside, Midland, Anthony, and Clint over Irvin there.
Mountain View, Cathedral, La Mesa getting the win over Fabens, Centennial, Goddard, and Eastlake, all winners tonight.
And then Mayfield over Belen last night, as well as Burgess over Hanks. That right there is your recap. Friday Night Lights.
And again, in case you missed it, Miners winning 27-10 over Boise State for the first time. Going to have post-game sound from Coach Dana Dimmel and some of the players. Go Morning El Paso weekend. We'll have that for you. We weren't able to get it in this show, unfortunately, but we'll have that for you. Until then, it's on to week 6.
Another week done, another week ready to go.
Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next week.